Hello there. Welcome to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com and revolution.radio. This is Planet Collingwood, an open roundtable. My name is Monty Dean. A big thank you to all the chaps, and I'm going to say ladies as well. Why not? Because I didn't hear all the show, but thank you for the last 2 hours. If you enjoyed the last 2 hours, please go to the website and donate what you can. We don't accept children. We aren't the cabal. And thank you for filling in for Why Not, for the Y-Files. He's, well, jokingly, he's on assignment, but things have happened, and when he comes back, I'm sure he'll have a lot of stories. So we'll wait for him and keep the host chair warm for him. And once you've donated to the station, within the means that you can, so we can keep Studio A and B on air 24/7. It's 100% listener supported and 100% volunteer. So without you, we can't do this. Well, to be fair, most of us that I have on will just have private conversations. And it's much better to have everyone else listening in because we have good chats. And once you're at the website, pop into the chat room. Also, if I can do some finagling, the archives are up, I believe, and they will be free until the 1st of September. And the username is Rev Radio, and the password is Rocks. So that's the station giving to all the listeners. If you've missed a show and you want to catch up, you're most welcome to pop in and go the hack, as they say in sports ball or some type of sports. It's in less than 8 hours. The metropolitan area of Melbourne here in Victoria will be compulsory to have face coverings. Most people say masks, but I'm sure we'll get into that. And also warning, before anyone says that I shouldn't wear a mask, please give me $200 because that's the fine if you don't wear one. I only go out to buy food and back again, so I'll just have a face covering from my car to the food and back to the car again, and then that's it. Yeah, the life of a hermit. You're all turning into me. If you'd like to join said roundtable, just send me a message on Skype and I'll add you to the call. It is Monty_Dean, and I think Freedom Screen, you should be able to call in that way. I've been joined by two giants of Planet Collingwood because they're taller than me. It's just basic physics, really. I have been joined by the Viking and the Bruce. Viking, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, Monty. Hey, Bruce.
Viking, Monty.
Sorry, what was that?
Hi, guys.
Hello. It was interesting. We started the show by the call just collapsing. So I've sacrificed small animals to the Skype gods and then blew a raspberry. So, balance. So what shall we chat about? Because Victoria is in lockdown 2, lock harder. We're going to face coverings. They've used the term the new normal in the media. The premier, who's the top guy, is complaining about people aren't doing it. It's like, yeah, and yet you let tens of thousands of people protest racism, racism is bad and we're all human. However, it gave bad optics to the rest of the state. It's like, well, if you can do that, then obviously this virus is not as bad. The testing's increased and there's more things and blah, 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 and so on and so forth. And eventually I'll probably get to how China still sucks. And I can see in one timeline a war happening because China does suck. However, gentlemen, anything that has popped up on your radar? Maybe not.
Go ahead, Viking.
Viking.
Oh my God! Well, there's so much here, man. I mean, this latest coup attempt by the deep state with Pelosi's speech yesterday has just left me. I mean, I rarely get chills listening to the deep state, and it just scared me. I mean, she's talking. I mean, essentially, they're talking about assassinating the president in any way that they can, get him out of the office, fumigate his office, fumigate the 10-year of POTUS, get Trump out. Even if there's an election and he wins, they're still going to call it their election and do an inauguration offsite. I mean, they are really throwing. I mean, they are both barrels, man.
May I?
I mean, 5 feet away, both barrels.
Yeah. It was an incendiary speech, especially given that a civil servant or a public servant of her office is there for, above all else, public harmony. And she just threw a liter of gasoline on a fire. I mean, it was like the Joker burning that money in Batman. Have you seen it, Monty? We should play it.
I haven't seen the speech.
I sent it to you. I sent it to you.
It's
Okay.
only a minute and five. It's only a minute and 5 seconds, but you actually have to hear her words.
She claims that she's second in line. He's gonna be removed, and I'm second. Of course, I'm second in line, and I'll be president. And no, she's third in line. But she's not just how they're thinking that get rid of him, Pence is gone, and they're gonna take over.
Yeah, think high school production of Julius Caesar. It's that bad.
I mean,
Yeah,
okay.
okay.
Can cue it up, Monty, if you want. It's really easy.
Yeah.
So just send it to somebody who's sitting at a computer. I'm just walking around with my phone in my pocket because I want testicular cancer.
Oh, as you do, because you got to collect them all. What the hell does that mean? No, I haven't seen it, but I have seen sort of the repercussions of Portland, where that seems to be a front. I'm not a big fan on the war talk. However, that's the best way of describing what's going on, where it's there's people complaining about, there's federal agents taking people off the streets and putting them in unmarked vans. Yeah, I know. I think Obama must be going, ooh, shouldn't have brought that in. So it's yeah. Now let's see.
I'm sorry.
I think
Go
we've
ahead.
been John Z, or as they say in Australia, New Zealand, and Canada and England. The rest of the English speaking part of the world. How are you, Mr. Z? Yeah, well, just keeping it real, right? As well as we've been rejoined, because he was on the last call, Aust Paul, a fellow Victorian who has a mask. How are you, Paul?
Yeah, is Paul there?
He's on the call. That much I know.
Yes, I
You
am.
guys,
Yes, I've got mask in hand. That's funny. But you know where I wear it? Where the zipper goes in my jacket. So just in case, I can just pull it up and go, yep, I got one. But other than that, good luck.
Yeah, because that right elbow is where most of the infections come through. So
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. And it can't get through your eyes either, so don't, and
No,
if police this is
contact
the
has
funny
nothing
part.
to do with it.
No, but the funny part about it is if police officers come too close, you can take stands back these days because do you have a mask? Why don't you have a mask? Don't you need a $200 and then you take a photo with the bargains?
yeah, because
And then,
you're familiar with Victorian police, but I don't think the listeners are. They've got this whole thing about shooting and then asking questions later, and it's been going on since Ned Kelly.
Yeah, that's how they do that in Texas too.
Yeah, I can imagine that because I've had a friend being pulled over by the police, and after the second shot into the chest, it's like then there was a warning. So yeah, it's also good. Now, Bruce, how are we going there? Or who?
yeah, I can't have that camera on with my bandwidth.
Okay, fair enough. Well, someone's sharing something, so I know this is an audio format, and I'm borrowing the audience.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out how to share this damn thing. Anyway, I dropped it in chat if anybody knows how to do that.
It should be just share screen.
Yeah, it's in chat. It's exactly. Let me tell you. Hold on. It's
Turn off your camera icon there.
I'm trying. It's
Like the mute button, but it's your camera.
It's
instead of
1
a
minute
microphone.
and 44 seconds into the video. If you go to that thing I dropped in, and go to 1 minute and 44 seconds.
It's up. So if you just play it, it should come through.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll find out. No, it's gone again. Skype's being Skype. There we go.
Hold on.
So just click play on that video there, which is from Infowars.com. Yeah, Infowars.com.
Okay, I have to say that
That's the wrong one.
Yeah, go ahead, Bruce.
Yeah, I'm really feeling a sense of, being away from it all. I think to really understand what's going on there in the first world, especially the United States, you have to be there,
Yeah.
because it seems to be getting increasingly tense. I don't know what to say. I don't think I should voice an opinion. I'm not there.
I will try. Yeah,
Right.
I'll try. So if we share screen, and of course now existent preferences.
It's at
Yes.
1 minute and 44 seconds is when she starts talking.
Ma'am, fix the internet.
I'm just illiterate when it comes to this kind of stuff.
Well, I'm learning things. So unlock, yeah, it's lock, right? Do that, and then do that, right? It should friggin' work now. Yeah, blah blah blah.
Embarrassed.
Guys, we're supposed to be pretending to be professionals here.
I am
good
I
luck.
am pretending. How dare you? Okay, so-
We should just have some music on or something.
Yeah.
Elevator music.
Yeah.
There we
third
go.
Floor, long. Oh, okay. I can't see it, but that's how crappy everything is. So if I just press
You
play.
have to drop it. No, it's
Wonder.
yeah.
Keep them going.
There we go.
Don't push me
Can you hear it?
because I'm
No.
the edge. I'm
No,
trying not to lose my head.
no, we can't hear that.
Okay. Well, that kind of sucks. So we'll
Can-
figure that out.
can you
anyway.
hear it, John?
It's just,
John, are you able to?
I don't know if my speaker is charged.
You don't have to hear it. We need to hear it.
But yeah, you're not gonna hear it unless I have my speaker on.
I'm joking. It's a joke.
All right. Well, we'll get back to that. So what we'll do?
Anyway, it's really not surprising. Like, are you guys finally starting to see a pattern when it comes to wars? Are you finally starting to see a pattern of what they say and do?
No, I
Assassination? You guys are
I'll
surprised?
point it out.
Come on.
No, I'm just saying that I
Maybe
knew
it's
all
worth
this
it.
was coming. I didn't know to the extent it was going to be this in our face.
What
I mean,
would you think was gonna happen? We were gonna play footsies and slapsies? Like, what's
Well,
going on
no,
here?
no. I
Well,
mean, you would think that if they had an ounce of sense of any kind of strategy, they would keep their cards close to their chest. She's basically blatantly just spewing it out there.
Well, again, that's the public persona of the plan, and I can guarantee you, whatever
Yeah.
the public front is, it's less than 5% of it.
Well, I remember Bruce and I agreeing that when they impeached, was it December or even November? They impeached way too early. They pulled the trigger way too early, and this is the ridiculousness of it. So you could see it as like their plan C or a backup plan, where it's like,
Yeah.
it's
The question becomes though, Monty, are they just playing desperate? Are they playing tough guy because they've never been punched, or are they really psychotic?
I reckon a bit of both. Go ahead, John.
It doesn't matter at the end of the day, because let's say they succeed in outing Trump of office in whatever way, especially right before the election, that is not going to go well. That's not going to go well for the public.
Well, no, you still have roughly 50% of the voters following Trump. It's an observation, not a judgment. And so whoever wins or however the election goes, it's just going to, like, you're going to turn the heat up on the popcorn on the stove. Anything that happens, it's just going to go nuts.
Yeah, well, this is one of the things when you play from behind, not knowing what your true intention is of someone. You have no clue. You're playing from behind. You can only react to what they do. You can't predict it.
Yeah. Like I actually shared on Facebook. So you're telling me the corrupt system is corrupt? Please go on. And what we're seeing is that there, as goes with what Viking's been sharing for 2-3 decades, 2-3 years, is the play is unfolding in front of it. Of the public's eyes, and the curtain's been dropped or the veil's been dropped, and there has to be that tipping point. If they're going to bring in a new world order, which is like Nazi Germany on steroids, there has to be a tipping point of like everyone get into the box cars, yeah, the general public's going to go, wait a minute, like the whole thing with the masks and face coverings, they're using that people can get sick, and you're getting bombarded in fake news, and it's all ramping up. And I can't wait till 3 months. First the election, and then New Year's. They're my timing points on this timeline. The rest of it, I'm just floating down the stream because it's just we can't predict anything. Like who would see Kanye West coming out saying, "I'm running for president"? You haven't felt the falls.
I swear to God, if he wins, I'm just leaving.
Well,
leaving.
He's missed his deadline on actually filling out the forms to get in certain states and everything else like that. He did his first. I think Mechanic in the past show mentioned that. Or someone did. He was talking to Mechanic. Mechanic was there. He did his first campaign speech or something, wearing a flak jacket. That's a good look. And started crying and
flak jacket.
Yeah,
I want a combat rapper with me. Hey, what's up, man? Yo, bust the beat. Yeah.
We're going to war. Get the subs going. Go ahead. Was it Viking? I think you wanted to share.
Who had a flap jacket on?
Kanye West.
Oh God.
Yeah, and so
he's absurd now. Is this that moment of absolute absurdity that Andrew Bartzis was talking about? I mean, is this it?
Have we hit it? I think we might.
Have we hit it now?
Arrived.
Yeah, can we define this as the marker? Kane West in a flap jacket? I called it first.
Yeah, that's the
come on.
It's the beginning. Yeah, it's not the end or the high point. It's the beginning.
Listen. I still think
I gotta. Go ahead, John.
So
John,
I still think
you darrelled me right off the mic. Buddy.
Yeah, good, wonderful. Yeah, shut up now, Canadian. Yeah, I still think the best course of action for this country is to prop up a dead president in a casket and have him voted in. And I think everyone will leave us alone for a very long time after we do that.
What, you think go full bar nuts? So like they elected a dead guy. We're not going anywhere near them. Who knows what they'll do?
You laugh, but I forget the state and I forget the year. But that has actually happened.
Yeah, because they couldn't get off the ticket, and so they actually had to go to the election with him on the ballot. Go ahead, Mike.
I think the last video of Soros was exactly that.
Yeah, well,
we haven't seen a video of Soros in over 3 years. I think the last one he was actually dead.
Yeah, because there is a lot of information because we haven't seen him, and there's been a lot of reports, not on the mainstream because it's lamestream, that Soros is dead. But he's a good figure to prop up and say, oh, it's him. It's the blame, shame, and guilt game, and so they're looking at him, but his network is still there.
Okay, I gotta tell you guys a hard truth right now. Most people in that type of power that you describe, like Soros or insert the blank, a lot of them do die before their time for whatever reason, and they're replaced.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure this guy died a long time ago, at least a decade ago.
No.
Well, the interesting. Go ahead, Viking.
Just look at this video of Pelosi. I mean, her clone is melting. I mean, not disintegrating, melting. I mean, her clone is due for an upgrade. Unfortunately, there are no more upgrades. They've ceased all the upgrades, and so these guys are going to be just like the Wicked Witch of the West. She's going to melt into a puddle.
Yeah, and that's
just too much hate being contained in one vessel. That's all that is.
And the interesting thing is, I made an observation where I've been looking at stuff from 2010 just visually, and a lot of people have aged badly in the last decade. Where it's like, the end scene of Raiders of the Lost Ark, where they open the Ark and the hand of God comes out and sucks out the life force, and they all melt. Yeah. It's like that. My joke about Bill Clinton, something sucking the life force out of him, and it's not Monica. Hey, but the latest one that has popped up as a meme is Celine Dion, where it's a photo of her in 2016 and a photo of her now, and she's aged 30 years.
Yeah,
it's like, What? And people attribute to the acronochromy, the adrenaline stuff, and I don't know if it's. Go ahead.
I'm starting to wonder, Monty, if these people live almost exclusively on a liquid diet. Did you see how flaccid she was? I mean, that was like concentration camp thin. There's staying in shape, and then there's I'm slightly psychotic,
Yeah,
right?
she
No.
reminded me of the Wicked Witch of the West from the Wizard of Oz. Like,
There-
go ahead, Viking.
No, their daily dosage of adrenochrome is like not. I mean, it's like anything else. Your body gets used to it. You got to up it up. Got to up it up. Have you seen yesterday? They did a before and now a shot of what they're trying to put across as Kamala Harris.
Oh,
I mean,
that what? Yeah, what?
scary,
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah, Botox is a hell of a drug.
Oh my god! I mean, is anybody actually going to buy that? That's her. I mean, that's what you call a replacement. That's not even a clone.
Yeah, and it's like quick. Kamala's fallen down some stairs and she's broken her neck. She's still cognate, so we need a new body. But we've only got this Play-Doh. Oh, it'll be all right.
Look,
Just mush it all together.
because we went a bit out into woo-woo there. I think John Z took us into the woo-woo of cloning. Give us a little background on it, like Viking and John Z. I'm not really as versed on cloning as I would like to think I am. In fact, I don't know that much about it at all. How long it's been used, what decade it came into, is it the Nazis again? Did the Germans perfect it? Was it part of the paperclip
No.
thing?
It was part of
Okay.
it. They didn't perfect it. It's a Orion technology.
Okay, so this is extraterrestrial.
Yeah, because like
Absolutely.
David Icke sort of puts forward that they use Darwinism, where they keep breeding the same genetics, and that way the consciousness of the entity can move from grandfather to grandson type aspect. That's
Right.
that's very close to
Oh.
cloning.
Yep.
It's
Also-
in the mainstream. Oh, Viking, just give me a sec. In the mainstream, you had Dolly, the sheep, in like '95.
Yep.
We've cloned a sheep.
Yep.
It's like, why? They all look like the fracking same. They're like, how do we know that's a? And there's pictures of like fetuses growing in plastic bags. And so in the mainstream, it's doing it. So over to you, Viking, where the hidden history of it, which if it's been around for thousands of years in certain aspects.
Yeah, well, so what you need is a living cell, that contains the genomes or the blueprints of your DNA, that they can regrow a body from a single cell. And the mind has to be cognizant. If you're in an accident and the brain is destroyed, you cannot be cloned. You have to have a living brain, and basically you go into stasis and kind of like an avatar. Then you're transferred over into your new clone. It's
Similar
very.
to-
It's,
sorry to
it's
interrupt. Similar to the movie Avatar, where it's a form of VR, and so the consciousness shifts to a different body. What we're talking about is this probably technology where they can take, and it's not coppering. Like if anyone saw Picard, I'm so sorry, but the idea, spoiler alert, Picard dies, but they put him into a machine and they map his synaptics in the brain, and they transfer all the knowledge of his brain into a new robot. That's a scientific version of it, but we're talking spiritually, because you're more than just your physical body.
right.
Go ahead.
What do you think, John? Am I close here with what your understanding?
Yeah, it goes a step beyond that. Once you have a genetic profile, you can pre-print, if you will, and you could actually just take the person's consciousness right from wherever they are, whether their brain's intact or not.
I was informed though the brain had to be functioning.
Yeah,
It has to be if there's not genetic tissue, if there's not samples already on file, yes.
Yeah, but the conscious soul, your soul spark is not in your body, so you have to have your soul spark.
No, they can snatch it. They can snatch it. There's a time before you cross over. A lot of
Okay.
people, especially when you die, you're mostly looking at your body trying to figure out what the hell just happened.
Right.
And
Right,
I
making
also
it-
would say that these people are
This
probably
went love.
if I very quickly, I think they would be taught techniques of staying close to their body and not crossing over, and they're just waiting for their new avatar. I think I stepped on Bruce, and then we'll have like. Oh, Viking
You
first, then
stepped up.
Bruce.
No,
Okay.
hold on. You stepped on my money line.
Oh,
You ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's funny. Roundtable went Lovecraft real quick.
Hey, Metallica write good songs about him.
We're just down into I think it's my energy from that last book. I should just leave the call. I mean,
No.
we're right in the gut.
No.
Go ahead, Viking. Oh.
So the technology, using the same technology, let's say in the next 7 years, because we're in a 7-year cycle here where all this is going to blow through. And it's not that it's going to take 7 years. In 7 years, as we start to aggress and the technologies come out, 0 point energy, all the above, when we get these regeneration chambers, you can do the same where you can get your genetic blueprinting, say for me, at 42, and I can go into a chamber and regenerate my body back to 42. So you have the same.
Yeah, but
it's kind of like a hybrid. It's a hybrid.
That's all fine and dandy, Viking. But what do you do these days if some Negro steps on your shiny white new sneakers and leaves a mark?
You've been watching Do the Right Thing again.
Well, I'm gonna come in then.
Thank you for saying Negro. I would say Nigerian. But that's
bring us back into street focus. Let's get this get this humming.
You guys,
I mean, yeah.
You guys had mentioned something earlier about people just looking like they aged, like 3 decades in the last couple of years. And so let me ask you, why do you think part of this lockdown is still going on? As long as everyone's locked down, you can't take people.
There's an aspect, as I've thought about this, John, I've wondered, what exactly is this virus? If I were left to my own devices and stripped of all evidence, anecdotal or otherwise, were just asked to give my intuitive response, I'd say this is a kind of an act of God, because both sides seem to be equally benefiting from it. If you're still down with what Trump is doing, and I think about 8 out of 10 people at Rev Radio have gotten off the Trump train. The Christians got off about 8 subway stops back. This would have been about January this year. And I still see it. I mean, you can call me a dreamer, but I still see it. I see an active plan at work, and I'm 44 months into it, and I only got 4 months left on the investment schedule. And then the guy that sold my grandmother the bond said I'd get 5%. So I'm hanging in for the last 4 months. I'm just going to see what happens.
I would have a slightly different angle to that. My angle would be that Trump's not the savior of the peace. This will make people. He's a tool, and you can take that how you like. But he's the character for
he
this moment.
absolutely is.
Yeah, he's the character for what's actually happening. And so even if he's not the star of the story, he's still the protagonist. Me use big words, not sure. But he's moving the narrative forward, and we're seeing there's a battle over the narrative where the old school, they with bunny ears, are still trying to. They realize that the narrative is over, and so they're trying to create a narrative where they're still involved and still keep control. And then you've got Trump coming in with a monkey wrench, going smack, 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 smack. And it's interesting. I've heard Trump being referred to as a catalyst, which it kind of true, because you've got people that hate his actual existence, people that love his existence, and a lot of people in the middle going, ooh, I don't know. But people know more about politics now because of him become president. It's interesting how, in a way, we're going back to that primal energy where everything he's done is just wrong and he should be thrown into space. So you're against human trafficking, him stopping human trafficking. That's fascinating. Go ahead.
Now, I think right on what you just said there is the perfect time to play the Pelosi clip.
I haven't figured that out yet, so we'll see how that goes. Just for FYI, Twitter has banned everything QAnon off their platform.
Oh, took them long enough.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's had a pushback where everyone's like, "Well, I wasn't into QAnon, but you've just censored it, so I'm going to have a look at it."
Yeah, there you go.
Like, but we're getting closer to the election, and so it's that classic, the far left insanity where you blame someone for what you're doing. And so, look, they're trying to censor us, so they censor themselves, or they censor themselves beforehand. And you can see that with Antifa, where they're supposed to be tolerant, but they're burning down police stations.
Not to completely derail us here, but since we already visited Woo Woo World, I have a question for Bruce and Viking here. In your opinion, and I guess I'm kind of leading the witness on there, but in your opinion, what is the biggest problem on Earth when it comes to ETs right now? If there is.
I don't think there is a problem. There's a challenge, and the challenge is that they've been put in.
Who's the challenge?
Right. Okay. Well, can you hear me?
Okay.
Yeah. The challenge is that they had to be put into their role with their agenda, and they're playing out a contract of the deep state, which is allowing the counterparts of humanity to be able to gain a new understanding of themselves by understanding the antigen to the sociopathic tendency. So this is not whether it's good or bad. This is basically the script of this petri dish to allow for a new conscious awareness to emerge from this psychopathic incursion that's taken place, for since the time of Atlantis. This basically came in as an Orion agenda during the Atlantean fall, and it's been kept in place all through this. The Rothschilds have direct lineage to Inky. That's their lineage, and so this challenge of having this subjugation of our DNA, the viruses, the implants that have been put into it, like, for example, pain and suffering and despair and poverty and slavery. These are all viruses that we have been bought into, and because we bought into it, it manifests as our reality. But the awakening process here is really what's occurring, is that we are starting to understand that this is not who we truly are. We're coming into our own self-awareness and self-realization of our passion, our own intuition, our creative will. And as Monty had pointed out, Trump, my kind of tagline for Trump in 2018 was, unlike any president in history, he has awoken the masses to an opinion, either for or against. But you're right, he has catalyzed, he's awoken them up into some sort of cognitive awareness to where now they can make a choice. And this really needed to happen. He was a perfect man to do this. Now, whether you think Orange Man bad because he wears adult diapers, or you see his agenda that he is, I believe it is his vision, but he's part of a think tank. He's basically holding the reins to this think tank. He's basically, he's spearheading this new movement, which is creating an avalanche of people starting to understand that, wow, we really have been duped, and we have been on the end of marionette strings. We have been, subjugated in this dystopia, this web of dystopia, and the waking up process is really what is occurring here. And this is, again, as I've often shared, it doesn't matter if you don't have to crack a book or meditate or be a vegetarian. As long as you're waking up, you're on point, and you're on task, and you're on mission.
Yeah, and the first line of that would be the financial chicanery. 12 hours ago, Andrew Bastos did a show talking about the Babylonian money system and curse, and it's fascinating stuff, deep woo-woo aspects. But basically, the money on a certain level is a tool, but it's been weaponized, and there are ways, if by raising your vibration and becoming more conscious, that you can use it. And we still have to have money on the planet, but not in their version of their system.
So they weaponized it as debt.
Yes.
Okay, it's not a liquidity. So they weaponized it as debt. Money itself is just an instrument. It's like a knife. It can murder or it can save a life, right? Same way with money. It's just a tool. It's an instrument that, depending on how you, how you phrase it or how you put it across or how they have subjugated us, it has become debt. It has created debt slavery. But as a tool, it can create liquidity and it can create prosperity.
Yeah, and I'm starting to giggle with this talk about slavery and the American blacks want reparations and everything else like that. Like, nice idea, but how far back do you want to go? Because I saw, now I don't know if it was a fake headline, but apparently Wales is going to have a chat with Italy for the Roman times. Like, yeah, how far back are we going to go with this? It's
Joe Biden is floating an initial reparations package of $350 billion as part of his campaign.
Yeah, his campaign slogan's really weird. Build back better. Like that just sounds like him trying to speak. Going back to clones, I don't know, because he apparently has had a facelift, but the lobe of his ear has changed, the shape of it, and that's the other thing as well. Even when
that cloning question was conveniently unanswered. I didn't really get to the bottom of that. When did it start? When did it start?
Well,
that's it. What was the answer?
The faction of the Orions are Greys. There is a Grey faction, which, as you all know, that their genetics was dying out and they couldn't reproduce, and they had to be able to clone themselves in order to stay in the game.
So to answer your question, it started here in the late 50s, early 60s. But we'll just stick with that. We won't go crazy with it. That's when it started.
Well, that's interesting. Where in a way, like I use the example of watching Monty Python and the Flying Circus, where 80 to 90% of the jokes still work because socially we haven't moved forward. We've moved forward through technology, but even that's been controlled and stagnated out. I've seen what was it? Drawings of the space shuttle, but in the 30s, and like the idea of splitting the atom was in the 1910s, and all this stuff. But it takes us so long to come. Like even the CD was created in the 70s, but it took another 10 years till they could take it public. There's a rule of thumb with any technology you see in movies, the military's had it for 5-10 years already. And so with the cloning aspect, I'm sure in the 50s, some very higher ups actually allowed humans to start using it because the way that technology, everyone's got a camera. Like in the 80s, there was no internet. Not everyone had a camera. If you had a video camera, it was the size of a fridge and you had to break an arm trying to lift it and film people. And so you've got all that instant transmission of information. And so we're getting to a point though, the old narrative has been, the spell has been broken or it's run out of power.
Yeah.
How dare you talk down to vintage technology?
I'm not talking down to it. It's an observation. Go ahead, Bruce.
Yeah, but you see, but what I find alarming about that, and it's not that I disagree with you, I'm more likely to agree, Monty, but you'd think in recognition of that, there would be some outward discussion about like deconstructing or defusing the system we're living in now and doing a constructive, nonviolent, non-shocking reset. But these are some of the things that make people wonder about what's going on, right? Because it's not really out in the open at all. And, let me go back to John Z's original question. So restate the question again, because Viking went into a very long answer there.
So basically what I was asking is, what is the world's biggest problem when it comes to ETs right now, if there is one?
Okay, appreciating what Viking said, I'll give you my perspective, which is learned over the last year doing these, meeting these two very interesting gentlemen, Robert Wiegand and John Edmonds. Number one, almost everything is extraterrestrial. This idea, and this is part of the mind game, right? This is the Edward Bernays, the CIA mind control aspect of it. We've been conditioned to interpret this a certain way since about the 50s, which is, the day the Earth stood still. And then shortly after that came Star Trek. There really wasn't anything before that. There was like Jules Verne, and that was really like Journey to the Center of the Earth and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. The big mysteries were the center of the Earth and the bottom of the sea at the end of the 19th century. And then suddenly we're always talking about this whole new way of talking about extraterrestrials. Well, the truth of extraterrestrials is they've always been here. They're behind everything. They're probably what gave the Chinese Taoism. They definitely gave the Indians the Vedic system. They're definitely behind the prophetic lineage of the West. And by not understanding what an extraterrestrial is and how they interact with us, we can't see the footprint they've had on us already. And so the first stage, really going to the future and the new state of consciousness that Viking talks about, which he calls 5D, is not so much about gaining anything, but just realizing what you've already been living and with the entire history container you're living in. That's what's going on with ETs on this planet. And they're constantly like dicing and slicing the narrative into different like religious, new age, pseudoscientific, and other narratives to just try and get words around this. But the simple truth of it is that everything that's been going on this planet, Atlantis was all extraterrestrial hooked up too, as well. It's a big, big picture. And it's really inseparable from the human experience. We're not just coming to accept extraterrestrials now. We're coming to accept that they've always been here and have influenced every major facet of our life. Even look at the early 20th century. You have pioneering thought in a lot of things. Certainly in engineering and power, you have Nikola Tesla. In finance and the holistic nature, if there is such a thing, to the democratic capital-based system, you get John Nash, governing dynamics, which forms part of the mathematical theory of functional banking. But this is way back in the 50s, before they started really jacking everything up and got into derivatives and all that crap. Both these guys, how did you think these things up? Where did it come from? They both said the same thing. Extraterrestrials spoke to me. You got to take all these little pieces and put them together. You got to go and reread the Bible and say, well, what's really going on there? How does this line up with what Nikola Tesla says about how he got all his information and ideas? He communicated with extraterrestrials. He was very explicit about that. So was John Nash. They labeled Nash a schizophrenic. And when they did that movie about him, Ron Howard, and what an odd movie to do in the first place. Why even do a movie on that guy when you think about it? He really wasn't known. And get Russell Crowe to play him, a schizophrenic mathematician? Come on. But same thing. They labeled him a schizophrenic. And go back and watch that movie again, because it came out before alternative radio and we were all in. Go back and watch that movie again and realize how much is there. Okay?
Yeah.
So what is an extraterrestrial? We can talk about 5D and downloading and codexes and genetics, and I get all that, Viking. And it's a cool riff, man. It's a cool riff. But people are asking, what are ETs? Like, just simply put, what are they? My answer is everything. Everything you think you know came from an extraterrestrial source. And throw in life forms on the planet that are part of this planet that we don't openly recognize. And if you say you believe in them, you're crazy. So you get, as Viking would say, the Fey folk, the elementals, that stuff's all real too. I've never seen anyone, but just my intuitive is that's true too. They swear by it down. They swear by it down here. The gnomes, the duendes.
Yeah, you've got the element of spirituality. Yeah. Also, when I talk to people about do aliens exist? In the back of my mind, it's like, wow, you're back there. Because like I've had people say, I know all that evidence of aliens, that's all a conspiracy. So you're saying 30 ancient civilizations that talk about sky gods, all the photos, all the videos, all the testimonials, all the radar stuff, all that information, that is all being faked. Well, that sounds like a hell of a conspiracy.
Yeah. No, it's way big. It's way bigger than that. And the only reason we don't know about it the only reason people don't understand it the way I've explained it today is we're not expressly told. And I would say even the latest attempts at disclosure are still misdirects. I mean, you got Stephen Greer, Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, How to Bring Aliens into Your Consciousness. This is the state of ufology. This is the state of exopolitics in the 21st century. That guy's officially Washington backed, whether they say they're backing him or not. Okay? Yeah. Why doesn't anyone ask him, well, what if people, hey, that's an interesting thing you're telling us to do. That seems to be consciousness centric. What's the relationship between this thing you're teaching us and prayer? And what have we been praying to? Have we been, inviting extraterrestrials into our consciousness? So,
if I may, go ahead.
The big picture's coming into focus, and it's going to be a lot more practical and organic than 5D.
Good. So, can I speak?
Yeah, and then I'll introduce our new guest.
So the other piece of the puzzle here is if you want to see a galactic or an elemental, go look in the mirror. I mean, I believe we all came here, we signed contracts to run this gauntlet, to develop this new template of conscious awareness that the galactics have hit a void space, or they hit a plateau of their evolution, and we're sent down here to run this gauntlet, to develop this new understanding and to bring about this new sensual, sexual, creative will that they are missing. And again, we are galactics. I regularly upload and link to my galactic and my higher conscious, what I call my soul grouping, every day, and they send down these like little tidbits or these gossamer threads, these visions. Telepathy is not necessarily words, but they're visions and understandings I have to unpack. So I mean, this is, you can, as Bruce was pointing out, have galactic consciousness. You just have to accept the fact and know how to open that portal.
And do it safely and not try and bring up a demon or anything else like that. I'm just going to play with the Ouija board, and then the rest of your life is utter crap because you've got this massive negative entity following you around. You quickly finish up, Bruce.
No, go ahead. I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get back to it, I'm sure, because I've got a couple of jokes floating around the back of my head. We have been joined by someone who's known to Planet Collingwood, but it's been at least 4 to 5 years since he's been on. So the moral of the story is pay your parking tickets. Eagle Eye, how are you, my friend?
Oh, Monty. Hello, panel out there, everyone. Appreciate all this good energy you guys got sharing here. Lots of blessings, lots of love, lots of good questions. You guys are trying to figure some things out. I mean, cloning. But I wanted to let you guys know I'm really into this conversation, and I've recently graduated from the John Z School of Broadcasting.
Oh, interesting. Did he treat you like he was a staff sergeant and just kept yelling at you and throwing chairs?
It was a tough battle, but I can share with you, and through all the fighting and through all the positivity and ups and downs, I made it through, and I feel really good about it proactively.
Eagle Eye, as a non-American, can I ask you a question?
Please do, Bruce. And it's nice to hear your voice, my friend. How you been?
Yeah, you too. Yeah. In going about your daily business today, did you at any time feel physically, emotionally, mentally, or spiritually threatened or molested by a Negro?
See, this is going to get kicked off YouTube. Thanks, Bruce.
No, I'm, It's a theme here at Rev Radio now, and as a non-American, who's not patched in with anybody, I'm feeling out my options here, Monty.
I will find you the link. There is a great comedian, Ron Daly, I think it's. I will find you the link on Twitter, and he does small, quick videos. And he's
Eagle Eye. You just tell me what tattoo to get to survive, buddy.
Yeah. In that video, it basically they had the Trump hater and the Trump lover or supporter living in the same apartment, and it was quite funny. But the latest one is the similarities of a woke and a racist being best friends, and they say the same thing to each other, but they get different meanings, and it's spread all over Twitter because it's just pure gold. I will try and find the link for you, Bruce, so you can have a look at it. It's hilarious.
So should I answer Bruce's question?
In a PC way, yeah, because I don't.
Okay. Interesting that you would postulate that, because walking around the city with your dog and meeting people and talking to people, it seems like you're not really talking to people anymore. It almost seems like you're going through a phase of a brief, and then you kind of move on. And where I'm at now, people are mandated to wear the mask. And I got a question to everybody listening to this. Is the word mandate? Where does that come from? But we'll go that to another level. But Bruce, yeah, I never felt like that. But a couple days ago I may have, but not recently. So.
So moving forward, excellent.
Yeah.
That comes down to just divide and conquer, where it's people are still pushing the Black Lives Matter, and blacks are being killed and everything else like that, and people are swaying to all lives matter, which includes Black lives, because it's about if we take police brutality. Hispanics go through the same stuff, maybe not the same frequency, but if one does, it's still part of it. White people, all these labels, Caucasians, Hispanics, Asians, a policeman killing someone, it's not based on, we only care about when police kill black people. It's like, well, hang on, we're all humans, so let's just expand the idea out.
So my 85-year-old mother posted on Facebook, "All lives matter." Can you believe that, guys? She actually did that. She shared a video or a little thing that said, "All lives matter." Within 30 seconds, she had a comment of negativity towards my 85-year-old mother, who believes in everybody, every race, every child, every person, everyone there is. She was attacked.
I shared a great meme. Someone tweaks the Joe Biden photo of where I can't remember what the original one is, but it's like his brain ? No, his heart, and he's got this sort of light coming out of his chest, and it was blocked on Instagram and it was fact checked on Facebook. Because it's a meme. That's the level of it's just going back to what Bruce was said. It's Three Stooges had a baby with Monty Python. It's just going to ramp up for the next 3 months because the big tech companies believe that social media got Trump in. It wasn't like, say, 8 years of Obama and Trump knows he's got an ego. Sorry, people. He's got an ego. He knows how to work a crowd, and he knows what he works the crowd quite well. And he was different from the same crap for the last 40 years. They think it's like, oh no, it's because Stuart Dean posted this thing and it's a photo, so clearly he should be banished to the 7th layer of hell because I've got sway over Americans while living in Melbourne. I mean, really. That's the silly. You also have Viking shared here in the call chat, the latest Schumann resonance, and that's popping off as you do. And we've come to half time, so we're just going to go back into the change rooms and suck on some oranges.
Guys.
Thank you, Bruce, for joining us. Everyone else will be seeing on the other side. You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. This is Planet Collingwood Open Roundtable. Stick around after these messages. And And the second half of Planet Collingwood has begun. You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, revolution.radio. If you enjoyed the last hour, please go to SED's websites and donate what you can so we can continue having Studio A and B on air 24/7. We are 100% listener supported, 100% volunteer as well. So it's a group effort. And thanks for all you've done. And thank you for listening as well. And if you're on YouTube, hey, remember to like, subscribe, as well as share, because I need the cash, yo. And yeah, big thank you to Bruce MacDonald for popping in for the first hour. And hopefully he'll be back. He'll be back. At the moment, I've been joined by Aust, Paul, Eagle Eye, and the Viking. Your parents must have very strange names. Just remembering last week's show, I brought up the idea, which I got from Andrew Bartis, which is we won't really see major movement forward in the political spectre until someone starts campaigning on anti-corruption. And geez, that idea was shot down in a nanosecond. And I'm like, well, if you can't entertain the idea, of course it's not going to happen, because we are creative beings. So it would be very hard for someone to do that, but just putting out the option, that could help humanity, because as we try to cover all the facets in the last hour, where you have the financial system, the political system, the social interaction between everybody. China sucks, and I can see if there is a war with China, it's because China did it to themselves, genocide and camps and everything else like that. But they've got money, so it's okay. And where can, how can we move forward? And I just get reminded from what I've said, what Viking said, what Andrew said, and many other people said. Go into yourself, find that 0 point energy, be a neutral observer, don't pick a side, and respect everything, love everybody, do no harm, but don't take any crap, and you find your passion, and you'll move forward as we're going through the troubles. And I like to thank Ireland for, they've got a religious civil war. The troubles, like it's a civil war over religion, over the same deity. Anyway.
Well said, Monty. Well said. I like your proactive thought process you're throwing out there, my friend. You're really advanced a lot, my bud. It's been a while, since we chatted, so.
Yeah, well, you can say that, because it has been 5 years. Like, well, I hope to the flying spaghetti monster I've moved forward, because it's been 5 years. So,
and Aussie Paul and Viking, I just love to talk to you guys a little bit more and postulate some stuff here, and hopefully we can keep this going. But yeah, Mont, you're doing great. So what's going on in your hometown, buddy? I understand you guys got some things going on. You and Paul, you've got some things happening.
Yeah,
we're hours. What's happening?
Yeah, we're lockdown 2, lock harder, and face coverings become mandatory at midnight. And if you are that worried about getting the virus, you need a medical style mask or even a gas mask. But they say, oh, you can have a bandana or a scarf. I'm like, okay, so it's not so it's not actually about the virus then. It's about control. Mind you, when I went shopping a couple of days ago, everyone looked like they're on MASH. So that was interesting. So I was just like, where's Reno? Chopped it.
Where's their doctor? Oh,
Yeah.
right here.
Get to the chopper. And they actually did use, it's the new normal, and coming from conspiracy world, it's all this stuff is like, yeah, okay, yeah, we're seeing their plan unfold, and the trick is not to engage in the fear side of things.
Right. Can I postulate a question real quick and then be quiet? What do you think?
Yeah.
If you
unless that was the question, and it's like, yes, moving on.
Okay, I'm glad John's rejoined. Okay, who writes the script for the teleprompter that the President of the United States reads?
Well, in the mainstream version of reality, they have speechwriters. But who knows exactly where, like, is it Project Mockingbird where there's government or CIA sources for propaganda? But excuse me. But the thing is with Trump, because he's an outlier from the cabal, they would have a speechwriter, but I'm sure someone would edit So like, don't put this information in and
And here's the other question: when the speeches are they written maybe 4 years ago, 4 hours before the speech? When
4
are they
hours.
written?
Well, maybe they have speeches 4 years ago, but they tweak them to be 4 hours. So especially like trying to figure out what's happening politically, it's very hard to game it out, as Hijacker would say, because who knows what's going to happen tomorrow. Viking, what do you think? Oh, he's probably getting a cup of tea.
No.
Oh, there we go.
I believe that there's no speech. I believe he has what's known as bullet points. I mean, the guy's so talented. He's got an eidetic memory that each bullet point has a whole verse behind it, right? I mean, he said it so many times. All he needs is the bullet point, to be able to carry his speech. He doesn't. If you really look at it, the only people that really follow the prompt are people on the mainstream media, or you see Pelosi and Biden, all those guys when they're doing their deal, they're following a teleprompter. But I don't think he's doing that. And
Obama.
I also feel the speechwriter is not a speechwriter as much as it comes from a think tank as bullet points. It gives a vision and direction, and it gives a stratagem that holds the course of action.
Yeah, he can. I don't think he uses the teleprompter at the rallies, and he goes for 2 hours, and so he knows what he's doing. You don't have to agree with everything he says, but he knows how. He's an orator. I think that's the right one. Hitler was a great orator, but I don't understand German, so I didn't get sucked in. Just
Definitely.
why I brought.
Yeah, excellent reader. Yeah. He picks up the bullet points and moves on.
Yeah. But if you see any speech from Obama, he's playing tennis because he goes from one teleprompter to the other and then back again. And I think the teleprompter broke down one time, and he froze up. He couldn't do anything because he's an actor, basically.
Not to get political or anything, but I kind of feel like if I don't know. In general, I think Obama was an embarrassment to the American people, but since we're here in this day and age with all this craziness going on, I would feel ashamed to have that person, claim that person as my own. That guy was, oh God, he's infuriating.
Yeah, but
Who are you talking about?
Barry Soetoro. But he's a handsome chap, and people liked him because he was honourable and all that horse hockey. But he doubled the national debt with Trayvon Martin. He put back race relations 60 years. He didn't really achieve anything positive. He tried to bring in Obamacare, which just turned up all the payments. I think when Obamacare's website went live, it was so full of holes you could strain your spaghetti with. And someone pointed out that in World War II, the US military helped defeat the Nazis in quicker time than trying to create the Obamacare website. And then some internet developers actually fixed the website in 7 days. And then you've got the whole birth certificate thing where even though Barry has said, I was born in Kenya a couple of times, he also called his partner Michael twice at a White House press conference. He the
Joint Chief of Staff, Monty, in front of the Joint.
Like, what? Yeah, and you thought Reagan was just a bit loopy.
Well, fair. At that point, what are they going to do to the guy?
But he's got the world record of killing the most children for a Nobel Prize winner, so that's good.
And John, I agree with you exactly with what you just said, but did we also talk about what he did to some of the judges and remove judges and replace them with Kelsey Mannings? I mean, come on.
Yeah. Well, actually, speaking of judges, apparently Ginsburg has her cancer come back and will not retire or leave the job because she hasn't been seen for a while, and I think she's in a clone. That's her original equipment, and she's slowly falling apart. McCain did the same thing because I follow Razorfist. He lives in Phoenix, Arizona. McCain was hospitalized or was bedridden for nearly a year and a half, but was still technically the senator for Arizona and wouldn't give up power.
McCain, God, what did he do? He was involved in that envelope at the Bush Senior funeral. Remember that? Oh man, we forgot about that. I talked about that.
Well, he also didn't he actually say interview bomb Iran, bomb. It was like, well, clearly you shouldn't have any power at all. And he then you've got even goes back to where apparently he was a snitch during the Vietnam War, where he gave over all this information. So you know.
Two-faced politicians. Now you're reminding me of Mitt Romney, man. Come on. Jeez. Yeah, I don't know, man. What happened with that guy?
Go ahead, Viking.
Didn't McCain also carry the package of uranium to Russia from that Clinton uranium scandal? I think he was the one that handled it.
Most likely, yeah, because like he said he was supposed to be a Republican, but he did all this Democrat stuff. Basically, he was part of the Clinton faction.
They speak on one side of their mouth, but they act on the other side, man. There's no integrity in these people.
Well, yeah, I know.
They're treasonous, damn it.
At this point, I think we'd be better served if we had Batman heroes and villains in Congress.
You just want to see the Senate floor full of costumes. That's what.
Yeah, I do.
Someone actually shared a meme of Barack Obama wearing this weird sort of. It was a cross between. It was a costume cross between Tina Turner's costume from Mad Max 3, Beyond Thunderdome, and it had horns and face masking. And someone said, if Barack could wear this for 8 hours at a sacrifice ritual, you can wear a mask.
Mikey, my favourite for the politicians in this and that, you'd added the real Deadpool, but make it actually for real. And then follow it like he always does, and shoot up all the rotten politicians. That'd be a great movie.
Yeah. Actually, I remember Hillary Clinton said we should get an American on Mars, and I thought, can it be you? We'll use a catapult.
Hey, you guys, go ahead.
Not only Hillary, our ones is included, please.
Yeah, well, Darth Cheney's already up there with Halliburton, and what was the other? I had another joke which is gone. I've gone blank. Well, it'll come back to me. Welcome to Planet Collingwood, where, well, yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
So, Monty, you mentioned something about Q getting kicked off Twitter?
Yeah, QAnon has been removed from Twitter, and if anyone shares anything to do with QAnon, it will be banned and removed from Twitter. Wow. So Twitter is basically doing because they don't want real
First
world
Amendment?
replication. Well,
What
that
about
too.
the First Amendment? I mean, is that not included with Twitter?
Well, we'll see now. Is it a publisher or is it a platform? And so that's where they dance around legally. But they said, like, it will cause harm in real life or some crap. Probably like, yeah, you'll all go to jail for treason. So
Because getting removed from Twitter reminds me of something also recently. A girl named Chrissy Teigen has had a little problems with her.
Yeah. Because they're like, yeah, there's sexual harassment. It's like, because Tucker Carlson put on a jacket. Ooh. Now I remembered as well. One good Michael Moore idea was in the late 90s, he was trying to get a ficus tree elected to Congress. And if that worked, try and do it in every state. So the entire House of Representatives would be full of trees.
Jeez.
Yeah.
We need a John Z. Rise of the Dead president, man. That's a good meme.
Yeah, but which one? I thought when he said that, like, which one would like?
I think you get Ronald Reagan. Just prop him up in there.
Well, yeah. His speech about at the UN. Imagine if an outside force, like, are you programming? Are you gaslighting us? Are you saying that we should all come together for an alien menace? Well, what's going on? But that was what, 84 or 87 or something. So.
Yeah.
But that's the interesting thing as well, going back to the ET question or questions. They name one, well, apart from Doctor Who, Name maybe Star Trek, but name the rest of them have always been in a negative light. It's always alien invasion, body snatchers, War of the Worlds. They always, you don't, I mean, it may be a boring story. It's like, hey, this guy landed here, gave us free energy and flew away.
But they were the good aliens. Don't forget the good aliens, you know?
Yeah, but it's
the benevolent ones. People
Yeah.
call them the benevolent ones.
Yeah, and because of we live in a free will universe, in a free will galaxy, in a free will solar system, on a free will planet, they have to watch and not help us. It's like a toddler learning to walk. It's like, they're cheering on the sidelines, and of course some of them would bend the rules, and that's where my hope comes from. It's not, it could be a leap of faith, but I know that if there's black hats, there's white hats, and it's, the French underground didn't send letters to the Nazis saying, can you please stay away from this church on Tuesday at 5 o'clock? We're blowing it up. It's a spiritual in that aspect, where the dark have always used subterfuge and hid behind the curtains, but the light has gone into the shadows and the darkness is shrinking. And the light side are still doing their things, but the whole goal, and I think Viking will back me up here, is we are the ones that we're waiting for. Humanity has to get up off its knees and move forward and find a way. We don't need an outside influence or force to help us, because that sort of taints the experiment, if I can use that language.
The whole concept of bending a knee is really kind of perverted. I mean, you're bending a knee means you're giving in to that whole regime or construct. It's not solidarity at all. It's more of a, like in the old days when you bent the knee, you had to bend the knee before the king, right? And you give him your whole patronage. It really went a little too far. I just want to say one quick thing here. The algorithms from yesterday's speech opened up my eyes here too. I could only see till about November 3rd. Well, now I'm seeing from Samhain till solstice. There's going to be a revolution. I mean, just imagine if Trump did win, but the Democrats said they won, and now you have two factions saying that they won, and there's going to be about 4 or 5 weeks trying to decide who actually won, and there could be, again, it could go into revolution. Because some sort of deep civil unrest, or it could be a massive coup attempt by both sides. And this has really been bringing in a whole new plaintiff of scenarios that we're going up to the election. We know it's going to be that absolute hellhole. But then the period from, again, Samhain, which is the 31st of October, till about to solstice, which is January 1st. It's gonna be a war zone, man. I think we're really gonna have two parties saying that they won, and there's gonna be some sort of a massive double-ended coup that's gonna be taking place. It's never happened before, and that's my prediction.
I did see a headline that Trump said he would not accept the outcome of the election because of the mail-in votes. And, of course, the media spun it as like, oh, he's a dictator, he's addicted to power and all that type of stuff. The thing is that there are reports of people being caught where you can mail in a vote, but they've got 6. There's even a joke about Biden it's going to be a close election because Biden's going to get all those dead people, and the undocumented citizens or trespassers, depending on where you stand on that. And also
now cats and dogs.
Yeah, Fluffy, no. Trump has said with the census not to count the undocumented citizens, and of course they'll spin that. And the interesting thing is, it's like economically, it's you have it's a harsh word, but they're trespassing. Fill out some forms. What is the problem here? Like here in Australia, very quickly, here in Australia, one side, the Conservatives, which are called Liberal, welcome to Australia, they want to stop the boats or the asylum seekers sneaking into the country. And I'm still like, yeah, you don't want queue jumping. You got to fill out forms, especially all the actual immigrants that have filled out and gone through the 3-ring circus to get citizen status, and then you let some guy just walk in because he walked in. It's like, well, hang on, that's not fair. The thing is with the stopping the boats is they stop the boats and they get all the asylum seekers and then they put them into a camp and leave them for 3 years. And a lot of Australian people that are very upset at how the refugees are being treated. They think that you support the inhumane captivity of these people. It's like, well, no, we don't. We want to stop them. And Australia's big enough. You could actually. Here's an idea. You actually have a town and you have a fence around it 5 miles out. And you get people used to living in Australia with Australian society, and you check them out and do background checks. There's nothing wrong with that. You still have to, like, if you go into a bar or club, if there's a bouncer, you got to show your ID, to show how old you are. And sometimes they actually copy your driver's license, so if there's any incidents, they can track who's. That's a bit police state-ish, but the point is to. So in Australia, you actually have to not show, but your name's on the register, and you get it signed off. And you don't have voter ID in the United States, which is an easy loophole of swaying the election. And if you've got a driver's license, just show that.
I can tell you horror stories of my time in security about the things that went on.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
Well, yeah, it's like, card-only white people. Well, how about that fat Hispanic guy with a shotgun? Oh, he can go in.
I'll tell you how lackadaisical it is. There's literally stories, and then mind you, this is multiple elections. I'm not talking just about presidential elections, where you would have people going to different voting sites, seeing the same bus full of people in the exact same order, voting all day. Like, yeah. What?
Yeah, like even in Australia, where I don't think we're not at the level where we have to prove who we are. You would get asked, have you voted somewhere else? And you would say no, but your name's marked off. And of course, if you've voted in 6 different places, I think they go with you if you're registered in a certain seat. The 5 votes get removed because obviously you're swaying the election type thing. I'm not sure the legalities of that, but that's what I would do. It's like, well, or even you probably have to you lose the privilege of voting because you're being a prick about it.
No, but yeah, Monty, if you vote more than twice, you get a $2,500 fine.
Yeah, that sounds very Australian as well. Like, yeah, Barry, you've done wrong. Give me some money.
But if you don't vote, you get a $300 or $400 fine.
Yeah, they found me. But apparently you can actually go in, get your name marked off, go to the booth and get your pencil and just put a line straight through it. And it's a non-vote. You've done the process. You've done all because here it's compulsory here in Australia. I think Sweden's the only other country. Now, can you imagine those lovely people in the United States? Open your mind real wide now. Can you imagine if voting was compulsory in the United States of America? Then you'll see some real hardcore campaigning.
Well,
my
brain.
brain.
The lines, sorry, just the lines alone.
Well, yeah, 330, yeah, more people, and yeah, it's. Yeah, someone actually shared on Facebook, I think it was, that 40 million people live in California, and then another 42 states was the same, about 40 million people. And it's like, we should look at this. Yeah, but the thing is, the idea of the Electoral College was that you don't have one city pick the president for the rest of the country. They've only got 2 senators for California, but there's 40 million people. And the representation's off, but the idea is like, if there wasn't the Electoral College, you could have New York, Chicago, maybe Detroit, and Los Angeles or California dictating who the president is, and everyone in rural like Montana and everything else like that, it wouldn't really matter.
California's going through a revolution, Monty. Everyone else on the call. I mean, it's going crazy out there. I mean, what are your opinions on this stuff? I mean, Newsom, they're calling him treasonous, and everyone's angry with this guy.
Yeah, Babylon Bee, the great parody website, they actually said he's been put into a timeout because he keeps fiddling with the switch of the economy. It's off, it's on, it's off, it's on, it's off, it's on. Razor Fist, who I mentioned earlier, he's in Arizona, and there's a lot of people, Calzec, where a lot of people are leaving California because it's not the state that they know, and it's changing too much. The thing is, sane people are leaving and they're free to get out, but then there's other people who are bringing the same idea of democratic California into Texas and Arizona, and the people as Arizonians and Texans who are sort of like going, hey, California guy, just back up. We don't need that crap here.
Let's break in this term right now, Chinafornia. It's pretty common.
Same here in Australia. Same here in Victoria. Is that it's interesting that all this chicanery and lockdown, and the government has actually made a deal with the One Belt Road stuff from China, and apparently Victoria has ordered 3.8 million masks from China, from Wuhan. And
yeah, I'm sure it's made out of fabulous Chinese ink.
Oh yeah. It's like,
make sure the cotton's grown with GMO and glyphosate, though. That's key.
Oh yeah. Excuse me, is this mask gluten free? I can't wear it.
Come on, it's Monty, in Melbourne. You've got to know it's near Hama. Can you please just how?
I have no idea what you just said. You sound a bit off.
Yeah, I can't.
Okay,
I can't even understand you.
Hello,
Like your
how are you?
connection's bad.
No, you sound muffled. It's like you've got your microphone under your chin.
Drop off and come back on.
Yeah, take your mask off, Paul.
Sorry, is that better?
Yeah, a little bit better. Yeah, and thank you, Eagle, because you've just reminded me. We all have to learn how to speak Kenny from South Park now. And so people are gonna start yelling at their checkout chicks because it's like, I said, you're not wearing a mask. It's like twice. So yeah, well, interesting times. So how about this idea? Some people have been floating the idea that because the virus it's more political than medical. After the election, you'll probably notice that the COVID virus will disappear.
You're probably right on with that.
Well, I don't. Well, there is a virus. It's weaker than other flu stuff, but that just points out how they suck. Go ahead.
To be completely honest, I hope they don't lift the lockdown until they have this child ring circus worldwide controlled. Because otherwise, we're just going to go right back to what we were doing.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Ghislaine? Is that the next topic, Ghislaine?
No. It's there's an idea of like in the music industry, there's certain artists who will not be performing until there's a vaccine. Because you want to be totally
idiots.
Well, yeah, I know but they believe stuff, and like Lars Ulrich from Metallica went on to Samantha Bee and like, oh no, he's a lefty, but he's Danish, so it's like it kind of makes sense, because Samantha Bee is a unique individual, and let's move on.
Yeah, we'll give you the Joe Rogan opinion real soon,
Well, the interesting thing about Joe is at the end of the year he's moving from YouTube to Spotify. He got $100 million contract with Spotify.
Oh,
good for him.
Yeah, and I didn't know Spotify did video. Or maybe that's
they do now.
Oh, yeah, they do now. Because just the way that YouTube, I've seen. I haven't told Bruce yet, but I remember Bruce putting a comment in one of my videos. I got the email of it, but it's not there. It's been removed. So.
Censorship. That's horrible.
Well, yeah, because it's all about groupthink. And if you know, also, it's not making traction, but Greta Thunberg, which sounds like a painful way of going to the toilet, has come back, and it's like, we have to think about the climate crisis. It's like, really? When
Greta, we need your opinion, please. We can't think for ourselves. Help us, Greta.
Her name is Regretta. I regret it, but it's like really they're trying to push the climate. I think this lockdown's helped climate because there's less traveling and pollution and everything else like that. So it's like, people are dying and there's going to be a war with China. I want to save the whales because like they don't have cell phones and I keep getting texts from the whales saying, "Leave me alone, you crazy little woman." So.
I'm just thinking about what Viking said before about, the algorithms speaking up, increasing. Monty, everybody on the call here, remember we used to use the term ramped up? Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember? Things are, well, guess what?
Yeah.
We're getting to the edge of the ramp.
We're about to launch. Go ahead, Viking. No,
the only thing I want to share here is you guys seen the price of silver in the past 48 hours?
It's what Bruce shared it in the host chat on Skype. It's 18 or 20. It was 20, and it's gone to. It's starting to, as Eagle would say, ramp up.
Right. Well, it was $18 last Monday, and today it hit $22.50, and this is $4. I mean, this is almost it's starting. It's not that silver is gaining liquidity or value. It's this confidence in the dollar is being challenged right now. I mean, the fact that we're getting these second quarter stats, and the third quarter stats don't look any better. But New York City is basically vacating like rats leaving a ship. They're going to lose billions of dollars in taxes. Corporations are going down. United's down. Caterpillar's down. All these corporations are going down. Jobs then are going to be lost by the hundreds of thousands, if not millions, and they're still trying to keep the narrative alive. And so basically, people are starting to realize that your only security right now is not the stock market. The stock market is dictated by jobs and numbers. And if it's a good report coming out of the president's mouth or Steve Mnuchin or the IMF, then all of a sudden stocks are up. But they were betting on the last 4 months that for a V-shaped recovery, as these stocks are falling, they're jumping in like Robin Hood and buying these these B-plus stocks that have been downgraded, hoping that there's going to be a recovery, and recovery's not coming. So you're going to see another slump in the market, and the dollar is continuing to weaken as the yuan, the renminbi starts to gain strength around the world. The rupee and the ruble is going gold backed. We're going into a very interesting time. So silver and gold are definitely starting to make a bid, and it might go up to 30 and then drop. But it's going to go up to 50 for sure. Then because it's already hit 50 twice and dropped, it's probably dropped back down to 40, and then at that point, it's going to just basically hockey stick at 40. So I mean that'll be your last time to buy in, and I wouldn't wait for this market to recess to buy in. If you got any kind of liquidity stacked in a bank account with fiat currency, I would definitely park it in silver.
And I would recommend as well, John, just give me a second and then follow up, please. I would recommend have physical gold and silver, because if you've just got a piece of paper saying that you have gold and silver, you've just got a piece of paper with all the crap that goes on. You actually have to hold it in your hand. I would recommend that. Go ahead, Mr. Z.
Yeah. So, one of the things that concerns me the most when people talk about this thing, there's nothing wrong with investing your money, especially if something, if you could double your money or do whatever, that's a good thing. Good, do it. However, do realize there's a ticking clock on this money in all forms, whether you have gold, silver in your hand or whatever the case may be, whether it's a piece of paper, stock, whatever. Realize at some point, money as we know it is going to go away. So I would advise anyone, if you're going to do investments, do them, obviously, especially if they make sense for you, but realize there's a clock on that money. There's going to be a time where you have finite use of it.
And
the
thing about no, that's all right. The thing about gold and silver is it can be used for so many other things. That's what gives it its value. Cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
I'm just
but
just a hit of hope. I
Yeah.
understand what you're saying, but if you have gold and silver, most people on a base level will trade that way. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more of a longer term investment. In the short term, especially when things kick off, I mean, I'll tell you what, you could dump a gold, a dump truck full of gold in front of me, like, hey man, you got any camping gear?
Yeah. No, that's my joke as well. It's like, I'm off to buy some milk. Hand me that gold bar and a chisel. That's why you have silver as well, because I have no idea what gold's 1,800 or something. A bar, and also make sure it's not that Chinese gold where it's gold plated. What is it? Starts with T. Yeah.
Tungsten.
Tungsten. Yeah. That tungsten crap.
Well, we originally pulled that on them. We sent them I don't know how many tons of gold that we owed them, and of course they drilled into it. And we actually did that for the first time.
That wacky Fed. So yeah.
So I just want to make this one point though. If you have gold, sell it and buy silver, because silver is really going to be the. See, it's not a currency. It is a commodity. It's used in everything, and right now, because all the silver ever mined on this planet, 90% of it's gone. It's been used up in silver nitrate and as filming industry and
That's right.
electronics and solar panels and jewelry and whatnot. 90% of all gold still exists above ground. So I'm speculating that it's actually 1-to-1 silver to gold above ground.
Yeah, remember Max Kaiser, who was on yes.
You to come up with me and I'll give you some gold. No problem, but you got to dig it.
Oh, well, if there's work involved.
There's always work involved.
Oh, yeah. Max Kaiser. Hang on.
What happened to the ETs mining gold? Whatever happened to that?
Oh, that was a quarter of a million years ago. So they're still taking gold off thing. But how far down the rabbit hole do you go? Yeah. But the thing is, Max Kaiser, who I think he's still on RT, Russia Today, it's probably 3-4 years ago now, but he said that buy up physical silver because which banking, I think Goldman Sachs, they would collapse because they've given out all these certificates. They don't have the physical silver to cover all their debts type thing. I don't know what happened to that. So
right now it's BlackRock and Scotiabank are out have all the shorts at this point. JP Morgan cleared themselves of all the shorts. They're now long. So I think that's what's giving credence to, because JP Morgan has almost like 1 billion ounces in their vaults that they've been loaning out and consigning and trading and trying to keep this whole banking industry alive with their contracts. But I just want to make this one point. Anybody out there speculating in silver? Silver is like in the coins, they're 90%. People don't realize that sterling is 0.925. And so flatware, jewelry, your grandma's serving dish, if it's sterling, it has as much value as a 999 or a 0.9, and you could be stacking that as much as anything else.
Yeah, I'm just thinking this won't go on forever. Because see you later, John. Thank you for being with us. Couldn't do the last 20 minutes, but he's onto the interchange bench to wrap himself in blankets. Why am I using Australian rules football vernacular? No one knows what footy is except for Paul. And I've lost my thought. It's
let me throw one in here, Monty, real quick, because I was listening to what Pony was talking about, and he's been getting involved in some cryptocurrencies, huh?
Yes.
What's up with that? Yeah, I'm impressed with some of his work, and he was talking about some XRP and some, I don't know, something like that going public and things like that. And while we got some wisdom on the call with like Viking here, maybe you could add some wisdom to this proactively. Well, what do you think?
XRP and Ripple are the cryptos that the bankers use to shuffle money back and forth. If the central banks collapse, XRP and Ripple will become no more. I mean, you're better off getting Theta Fuel, Litecoin. These are means of transactions. These are delivery systems that will allow us to right now punch a button and it shows up on your phone instantly. You know, this year it's when you're investing in crypto, it's not the idea, it's what they are doing as far as the technological advancements they're providing as a service. So you have to do your research when you're doing cryptos. You just can't, oh, this guy's buying it, or, you know, this is the hottest one. No, what can it do? And right now, Theta is really hot. Getting a Theta node, you can start generating Theta fuel. You become part of the network. Litecoins is a means of delivery for Bitcoin. You know, there are just different applications. Again, cryptocurrencies are applications that will be put into this. It'll be our new way of delivery in our electronic
Plastic
world.
digital. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. But not just money, but the way, for example, you and I are talking. You know, it's just everything that has to do with technology. They've developed ways that can make it lightning fast and instantaneous.
Nice.
I'm just waiting for the sun to have that gotcha moment where it sends out a solar flare and an EMP just bathes the whole planet, and or just everything's wiped. I'm a bit of a pessimist with cryptocurrencies like EMP, oi. But I also, on the flip side of that, because all that electronic sea that we're in, you'll probably notice everyone go a bit spiritual in about a day and a half because they can tap into their own power.
Well, see, you got the $1,200 check stimulus now. People first got a check, and now soon they're going to get like a credit. Is it possible that in the future, if that continues, that they would give us maybe a cryptocurrency or a digital coin, or where's that going? Really curious.
That's one idea. That part of the New World Order plan is to have one digital currency. However, that means that they can control it. The thing about having physical money is there's an element of freedom, because I can take this $20 bill and buy anything with it, legal or illegal. But if you're all in the system, like there's a movie called Demolition Man, which everything's controlled, and if you're not part of if you've got wrongthink, they can just freeze your assets because everything's digital and your phone won't work and everything else like that. But go back to 1933, where there was a lot of grandparents or great-grandparents, now if they're still alive, they hid all their gold because they didn't want to give it to the government, and the government shortchanged them, where give us your gold and then we'll pay you this much. And then they did that grand sweep of most of the country, and then I can't remember what they did. They changed the value of it, and they ripped everyone off. And also you got Social Security, which basically made every human cattle, and they used that energy of like how much they put you on the stock market and see how much money you may earn over your lifetime. And so that's
your birth certificate.
Yeah, and it's interesting where you got Black Lives Matter. It's like, yeah, you have to acknowledge slavery, and we were slaves. Yeah, 100 years ago when you weren't alive, but everyone today is still an economic slave. If your government owes money to a central bank, a private company, your taxes pay part of that. So we are all still debt slaves. Yeah, it's dropping truth bombs on Planet Collingwood. All right.
But that's not
yes, I understand. No, there's a fun part about being a Victorian, especially being a debt slave, and because we've all been forced. Well, I've been broken, so unfortunately I was before the Canara. But anyway, put a lemon in it and drink the Coronas. Well done. That's great, basically beer. But the fun part about it is I've been broken and a little bit this and that, and I've been waiting to go to hospital, And when it come, I was almost there. The first round, and now, hello, second round again. Oh, I just want some screws out so I can function correctly.
Oh, well, yeah, there is that knock-on effect where it's just COVID, and I'm seeing reports of more people taking their lives, where small business owners just going.
Suicides and this and that.
Yeah,
being stuck in.
Yeah, mental illness is going through the roofs. People are getting more suicidal because of the reality that they're in. They think that there's no way out. And it's just an observation, not a judgment. Apparently, domestic violence, it's because everyone's in lockdown, they're getting cabin fever. And because now we're in the second wave, it's pushing the barriers of humanity as a whole. And it depends on what they're going through. I like how Andrew...
how mentally stable or whom you talk to. Because
well, if you do the shadow, if you do the shadow, but if you do the shadow work, you can work through stuff and everything's been exposed. I like how Andrew Bartzis has said that COVID is a karmic resolution. And it's helping people. It's the Prime Creator's gone, haha, bink, and everything's been not elevated, sped up in the evolution style things, and that goes to what Viking talks about with the awakening. So, Viking, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, well, it's all your attitude. I mean, from the very beginning, I looked at it as a staycation. I have had zero impact as far as this whole co-phobic movement goes, but on the bright side, as you're pointing out, there's billions of miles of less being driven, and so there's less car deaths on the highway, and the air is cleaner, and I mean there is a bright side of this in a very perverted way, but on the darker side, it's still a mechanism to control mankind and to keep him subjugated or keep him and her subjugated. But the awakening process is still the key here. Just understanding that it is a stratagem, it is an agenda, and it has been designed in a very nefarious way to keep us in this dystopia.
Now, we've been joined by another Victorian. Get him up here, and above him for the last 10 minutes. He doesn't have a cough. He's just a little hoarse. Pony, how are you, my friend?
Yes. Hey, what's up, Freedom?
Hey, that's you.
Say hi. So, bye.
Hey, there you go. That was Pony, ladies and gentlemen. Quick question for you, Pony. Quick question for you. Have you seen, what's it called? Top Secret, the Val Kilmer film yet?
No.
Okay. You still have to watch it so you can understand that joke. Anyway, over to you.
Me?
Well, anyway, I think Eagle wanted to say hello.
Well, he was Batman, wasn't he, Val Kilmer, at one point?
Yes, Forever. Batman Forever, which only lasted one film. So, lying in the title.
Well, there was something today that came up, and I was going to wait till I might jump on in the next hour, unless you want to do another roundtable. But Joaquin Phoenix made the news today, something to do with Ukraine hostages. And they made Joaquin Phoenix, they made the Ukraine government watch a movie he made in 2000. I don't know, man. I'm still researching it, but it's really freaking weird. Anyway, he played the Joker, remember, recently. So.
Yeah, in that movie where they try to ramp it up, where they try to crush the movie, where it's for Trumpsters, and there'll be violence, and they were building it up, and it made $1 billion, even with all the bad press. They wanted to have all the, it's all the right wing and the white supremacist, and it's basically one man dealing with his mental illness. And I liked it. It was okay. I know someone who is a Batman fan, and that's not my Joker. I'm just like, yeah, you sound like how I feel about The Last Jedi, but we won't bring that up. But Joaquin is vegan, and he's for the animals, and he's a bit loopy. And so, yeah, I saw something about that, but I didn't go into it too much.
There's they're trying to get a hold of more Darth Vader masks. People are trying to buy them, and they can't find them. It's kind of funny. There's a run on Darth Vader.
Yeah. So, have you seen the footage? I think it's in Europe somewhere, where the police, all in their riot gear, very militarized, and a guy's got a very small Cornish horn or French horn. And as they're walking by, he plays the Darth Vader theme. Ba, 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 ba. It made me giggle.
They did that with Trump too when he wore the masks. I think there were memes like that.
Yeah. It's for. I mean, I've saw people.
Should I wear my Hulk mask or my Thor mask today?
Yeah, and apparently, someone committed a crime in the United States, and the report says the police are looking for an unmasked man.
Hey, let me premiere this on Planet Collingwood. I have the first thong mask, for the record.
That's just creepy, dude. That ain't right. But yeah,
not for me, my friends. Not for me.
Yeah.
Monty, the unmasked man had his tongue sticking out and gone, wasn't he?
I'm not sure. I just glance at because I'm just dealing with my own reality. So it's just I see comedy everywhere. It's a coping mechanism, and as long-time listeners of the show would know that I use comedy to share information. So I actually did see a photo of a white man that blacked himself up completely and got arrested during an Antifa riot. We are that. It is just like we're breaking farce and going into hyper farce. Mm-hmm. It's just ridiculous where like people still think that Trump is a rapist, a racist, homophobe. He hates everyone. He's a new Hitler and everything else like that. And like, I'm not a big Trump fan. However, I don't see any of that because the way that the media is twisting it, and it's been 4.5 years. That's why I can't watch any late night comedy shows like Colbert and all those people because they've been saying the same joke for 4 years. It's like, yeah, we get it. You don't like Trump. Let's move on.
Yeah. And Jimmy Kimmel's not even broadcasting really anymore.
Yeah, apparently Ellen's had her show lost as well.
And Fallon, both.
Yeah.
Wow. You mean they were doing the flights to the island? No.
Yeah.
What did you see Ellen's backdrop? It's the same Arabian temple that was on the island.
Interesting.
It's
Pony, you got to keep this round table going, everybody. I got some code for the world.
Well, if you want to pick up the mantle after the break, Pony, you can go for a run for it.
Yep, I can do that. I've got to add people because I've got this new Skype name, Pony Pone Pones, but it's all there. It's all good.
Well, I'll just leave the call and we can continue with this call. So I don't have to drop the server. You just take the reins.
Are you going back into your dungeon to regenerate or something? You Vaseline being you.
Oh well, as a performer, I like to leave my audiences wanting, and I just do 2 hours and just put all the energy into that. And after the show, I just do a quick edit and then put it up on YouTube.
Because I've met him before. Yes, he is a Borg.
Borg. A few years ago, someone called me out live on air. They called me a racist and a chauvinist. And I cried. And I thought, yes, I finally made it in radio.
One of us. Yeah, I like, I get, you're a racist. It's like, why? Because I like bands from Brazil, Russia, Japan.
Like all that because you drive a car and you run. You drive a car and you run.
No. It's worse than that. I'm Caucasian.
The reason why he's called is because he assimilates radio.
Yes. Now we've got about 3 minutes to go. So final thoughts for Planet Collingwood, and if anyone on the call would like to hang out with the Pones, you're most welcome to. So we'll just hand over the power of the server to him. Viking, would you like to give your show and times and all that type of stuff?
Sure. I'm part of a council that is called the Galactic Interstellar Council. We are Fridays at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Fridays on Studio A. This week we'll be discussing the actual power that we can manifest within ourselves by waking up, and what that means and how we can actually take back this planet. So yeah, thank you everybody. This is the Viking.
Thank you, Eagle. Thank you for returning. You found the nest. Any final thoughts, sir?
Just a pleasure being with friends and people, of like minds, talking about the future, talking about stuff that's all relevant to us proactively. I want to thank Revolution Radio, and we're a man on a mission currently right now. We got a lot of things coming from a lot of angles. I'm currently pertaining an offer from a very large corporation, and I'm thinking about possibly talking about it here in the future. But Fox TV is coming in a different direction in life right now, folks. But yeah, Revolution Radio, that's where we are. Monty Dean, Planet Collingwood. Gotta love our friends from Aussie Lane.
Speaking of that, fellow Victorian, Paul, any final thoughts?
Well, I always loved the interaction with everybody, and yes, always keep going on Planet Collingwood.
I will. It's harder to hit a moving target. That's how I do my stand-up. I get my exercise running around the stage. Pones, not final thoughts, but if you do a quick pitch of the Planet Collingwood after party.
Good.
Yep, that's the high level and intellect that you'll be dealing with coming up to the next hour or two. So you've been listening to Revolution Radio. This is Planet Collingwood. My name is Monty Dean. Thank you for everyone listening and being on the call. It's been 2 hours on YouTube. Please like, subscribe, and share so people can hear my insanity, but in a good way. And after the break, Pony will be taking up the mantle and having the Planet Collingwood after party. So stick around for that. And Planet Collingwood will be back in 6 days and 22 hours because that's how we loll. See you soon, everybody. Say goodbye.